is that the president knew that something had gone on in court that he thought was not right, but you could cure it only through legal means, the same due process. So go and file a stay of execution. Now, when that happened, and the court gave us partial stay of execution, from that time to somewhere December 2010, all we did was to go into pre-trial settlement conference. Was the president briefed or not briefed?
That's a good question.
Those payments that were effected eventually, since he had a certain standing order, don't pay, and now that standing order had been challenged, let's be fair to the president, by a court order. And you remember, when he was speaking at the press, he makes the point that if a court gives order, then you might as well pay. So it means that, indeed, at one stage, he ought to have known, or he ought to have been informed that, indeed, sir, in view of court processes or out of court processes, we have paid. Now, if you went for an out of court process in order to effect payment, you ought to brief the president. Okay. That, sir, it is because of these reasons. Even if we go to court, we will lose. Interest too is still building. So the president ought to have been fully aware. And if he didn't know, those who didn't make him know have a problem. But I think that the president himself too, because he had already been made aware of the issue and had taken 2 steps to intervene, he ought himself have asked for a brief. Take it from me. He ought not to have gone, and I'm sorry, sir, you know I respect you and I admire you, to sleep over the matter, as it were. Okay.
What about the role of the office of the presidency? Because we're told, for instance, that they were copied on those letters. Consistently,
even when 2009 he began his thing, was copying the office of the president, the chief of staff in particular, and the secretary to the president.
So how come then the president didn't know?
Was he not briefed? I don't know. So I gave you 2 options. Either they didn't brief him well.
I take strong exception to your judgmental.
I'm asking
a question she asked.
If you have an answer for me, I'll come to you.
Nothing has shown that the president did not know. He is making an assertion. And I'll debunk it when my turn comes.
Okay.
In fact, what I've been very fair. I've only painted 2, 3 possible scenarios.
Sure.
And trying to make some logical deductions.
You don't need to convince us that you have been fair. You go ahead.
No, because this gentleman sitting here,
please proceed.
Becoming very disrespectful.
I did it David
because I'm angry with you.
But he wants you to be angry,
so I didn't want to
don't let him make you angry. Make your point.
Otherwise, David,
so you've addressed what you find to be the issues
so I have problems there. But you see, Matilda,
but let's look at the
let me tell you something about this, and I don't know, me too, I'm going to veer a little way out there.
Don't veer when you know that
you see, the way you make matters, I said, nothing new apart from those 2. Sure. So it gives us, and for me, what has happened, both on Martin Amidu's amended statement, Yoko report, an interim one, of course, vindicates the points that we had made all along.
Which was what?
Oh, which was that this was fraud of the highest order, perpetrated on the state of Ghana by Woyome in collusion with Waterville. Hold on, with Waterville, while some state officials slept on the job. I'm being charitable.
That's your interpretation.
I've always said so because I want to be charitable. The courts will decide eventually. But as for the first,
you've already given judgment.
So you must be happy then that at least there's some development. If you think it was fraud and the CID is questioning where you made, that's progress.
It's something that should have happened long ago. Because when the Attorney General goes to court with that amended statement, it means that the state was aware that fraud had been perpetrated.
Or suspected.
If the state, suspected, but that's reasonable suspicion. Okay. And that alone is a basis for you to cause police action. So if the state itself was aware that fraud had been perpetrated, and the fact that there's a civil case doesn't mean a criminal prosecution cannot be initiated. We have the lawyer is here. I'm 2 lawyers here. Okay, so I am saying that all along there are people who had responsible positions in the state apparatus who knew somebody had perpetrated fraud on the state, and that could have been action could have been taken in that sense. Of course, never too late.
Of course, and
so,
it was going to be taken anyway.
Yeah, I'm saying it doesn't matter, never too late, so it's the beginning. But I'll tell you something today. Right now, the Woyome matter, I've relegated it to the secondary category.
What's on your primary category?
The main problem for me with this report, this interim report, is their findings and observations on Waterville. Look, they accuse Woyome of having manipulated documents in order to achieve the objective that he was seeking to. I can swear on my whole integrity that Waterville also manipulated documents.
I think they mentioned something like that.
No,
collusion with Waterville.
No. That's a different matter. We are talking of the monies that had been paid to Waterville under this administration.
Okay.
The 25 million euro is undeserving. It's another fraudulent misrepresentation on the part of Waterville to procure money from the state's office.
So that requires investigation as well.
I am surprised that in this report, look, I have the UOCO Act here. I haven't read it fully. But they must have people who have procurement expertise in UOCO. I know there are people from different angles, but I'll check it later. That finding and observation shows a serious lack of knowledge and expertise and competence in our procurement law and the procurement processes. As we sit here, there are still people, including UOCO, who are putting some value on the so-called concurrent approval given by the Central Tender Review Board. They are still talking of an August 26th contract that was purportedly cancelled. And on that basis, Waterville is able to make a claim.
Clearly, it's my business.
Process, because I think there
were two things. No, there were contracts. April 26, 2006, government signed contract with Waterville. Contracts that did not become effective because conditions precedents were not met.
Okay.
Before it was a memorandum of understanding dated 30th November 2005. The procurement one was 2005.
Ought to be investigated.
The Central Tender Review Board does not award contracts.
Okay. Who else do you think?
So for anybody,
that's what I was asking.
For anybody today, 2012, and more so an investigative body, to give any value to a Central Tender Review Board concurrent approval, that person is exhibiting serious lack of competence and expertise in procurement processes.
Very well. Who else, in your opinion, because we're looking at the fallout and the development, ought to be questioned by the CID?
Well, relative to Woyome, the answer is obvious. We had said it long before UOCO.
Okay, so give us so we can move on.
The then Attorney General is a credible candidate.
Okay.
I haven't said she was guilty or she's guilty. I haven't said so. And I believe that's the spirit in which you were asking that question.
Yeah.
Paul Asimenu, serious candidate, credible candidate for interrogation. The Chief State Attorney, serious candidate for interrogation.
And the wife?
And the wife, of course. I don't know, the lawyers, the wife, seriously speaking, I don't see what crime she has committed at this stage.
But she can help.
Yes, so she's candidate for interrogation.
She can assist with the investigation.
You see, because I want to categorize. There are some who quote unquote, are indeed perpetrators.
Okay.
Actors, active actors.
So who else? I just want us to finalize that so I can move on to David.
Yes, there are others you can call witness in court of law who can come and shed light on some of those things. But you see,
so you mentioned the former Attorney General, the State Prosecutor,
yes,
and Paul Asimenu, Director of Legal. Who else?
The Chief State Attorney.
Chief State Attorney, you mentioned Mr. Nico.
Yes, the Minister of Finance.
Okay.
He can help.
Okay.
Because of, if you see the exchange of correspondence between him and Betty, obviously you would have to help the state to make a better case.
Thank you,
But I haven't finished.
I have to move on.
Yes,
I'll come
back, I'm sure.
If there's need to. Mr. Annan.
Yes.
Your turn now.
Well, the first thing I want to say is that it is reprehensible, disgusting, totally unbecoming of members of the NPP to today, after having run away with their tails between their legs like cowards from ECHO, to today seek to use the report which they themselves claim has no basis in law. A report for which they themselves are today in court, seeking orders of the Honorable Court to restrain ECHO from proceeding upon an investigation. They have encapsulated in their writ statements and averments that because ECHO is an inferior body acting under the supervision of the Attorney General, and because it is the same Attorney General who would act upon the report, it is as if one and the same person are conducting the investigation. They further stated that the best place to go for any matter concerning the Auditor General's report, from which this whole brouhaha emanated, is the Public Accounts Committee. Therefore, they disparaged, rejected, and nullified, negated any comment, any suggestion, and any attempt to use the EOCO or the ECHO or the EOCO as the means for investigation. Lo and behold, come, what date was it? Was it the 2nd of February, 2012? These same reprobates, what should I call them? Infidels. You know, when in
I mean, how can you, are you going to allow this?
Mr. Annan.
When in...
Sorry, David Annan.
No smiling matter, are going to allow this?
When in Muslim parlance, you don't believe in something, what are you called?
But I choose not to.
When in Muslim parlance, are you saying that the Muslims are wrong to call people infidels?
Well, I don't know about religion.
Do you want to bring, do you want me, I don't want to bring the wrath of the Muslims on my head.
Because
I'm using a word that the Muslims cherish and adore.
The word that
and you are telling me that I should withdraw a word that the Muslims use.
Otherwise, let's bring a dictionary here.
Let it be on your head.
Sorry, for the civility of our discussion.
So you mean when the Muslims use the word infidels, they are not being civil?
Can you refrain from using
You mean
that
they're not
word,
being
please?
civil?
Please.
Okay. So they are reprobates.
He's trying to invite
No.
He has to withdraw the use of the reference
all
infidels.
Of a sudden,
Matilda,
we have these people.
Matilda, let me once again caution David Annan that he should withdraw the use of the word infidel.
Report.
Otherwise, you should bring a dictionary here.
Which
in the meantime,
that is credited.
Thank you.
Should be used now
I want US to know that
as a basis.
Upon listening to you.
So my question is this: the simple question, the short question is. Are they going to withdraw the writ in court against EOCO? What is the status of the writ? Now, let me refer you to what their chairman, Honorable Jake Obechebe Lamte, stated. Well, he said that they were not going to go to the EOCO, and he clearly advised all the members of his party not to go. He said that they believe in a bipartisan composition of a commission in Parliament. And he also said that they will cooperate 100% with the Public Accounts Committee to make sure that the investigation is done in the open. Was the ECO investigation done in the open? In front of every citizen of Ghana. And until then, he was not